Divorced Not Divided. I'm Meg Phillips.
And I'm Nathan Burkhart.
And today is kind of like a fun little episode for you. We are going to be given Reddit threads and questions and comments, and we are going to respond to them.
Yeah, we're just going to dive into stuff that people are writing about divorce and co-parenting and stuff online. And we have no idea what these questions are, so we're just going to kind of tell everybody what we think. And again, we are not therapists. We are not lawyers.
No.
We are just pulling stuff off Reddit and responding. So just FYI, that's what we're doing today.
So have fun with us.
Yep.
Okay, so our first Reddit thread comes from the feed, Am I the A-hole?
Great start.
Yeah. Good question already.
Am I the a-hole for asking for part of my husband's business and assets when he wants the divorce and I don't? For almost 4 years, I paid rent, the expenses, the bills, and the insurances while he started and enlarged his business. The initial money he made was invested in buying better tools and machines. Once the business was better established, he started buying Jordan sneakers for collections and records and books and not pay any rent or other expenses. He then said he was unhappy in the relationship and now wants a divorce. I asked him to evaluate the assets for a fair split, but he got pissed because he wants each one to keep the things that we paid for. Am I the a-hole for wanting part of those assets?
So we're not a lawyer.
No.
So let's just make sure.
So this is just our opinion if he's an a-hole?
Yeah. So opinion if he's an a-hole.
Wait, if she's the a-hole.
If she's the a-hole.
Yeah.
No, I mean, she's not an a-hole. I don't know her. And so I don't want to call her an a-hole.
Nope, not going to call her an a-hole
she
for
might
sure.
be. I don't know. But like, I've
For this
never met her.
question, is she an a-hole for this question with the background she provided?
Oh, yeah. Duh. So, okay. So, long story short, it just, in my opinion, I'd want to see how the relationship worked and functioned in real life before I made that determination.
No, absolutely not. I already have an opinion.
Okay, go ahead.
I think this is similar. If this is truthfully represented, that's what I'm going off of here. If this was truthfully represented, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's paying for all these things while he's building up a business and he's not paying for rent and he's not paying for this and that. This is kind of goes to that whole situation where when we started discussing our house.
Yeah.
And me being like, what did Nate have to offer that feels like it should be off the table when it comes to divorce and your grandfather's inheritance felt like it shouldn't be touched.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
So it's like certain things like Wisconsin's a 50-50 state. I could have gone 50-50 and been like, no, we get it,
But that's important to understand that the judge is saying it's 50-50 based on our interpretation of it, right? It's not a thing where it's just like...
Wisconsin's 50-50.
Right.
So lawyers can go 50-50 legally and not bat eyelashes for asking for that.
Sure, right.
But they give us the interpretation if we feel like we will, like if we're able to provide it. So we were able to provide our interpretation of 50-50 for the house. And he accepted it because also he saw the two.
I don't think you're a jerk if you're asking for things that legally the state gives you.
But I also don't think this woman's an a-hole. If she was paying for everything while he started his company,
she's helping him.
She is the reason. She's part of that company's like being successful.
Yeah.
So asking for like if he's not paying rent at all and she's busy paying rent and everything, it's kind of like you saying, hey, yo, Meg, I really helped you get your SLP stuff.
Right.
And we talked about how to make sure that felt right.
Yeah. Yeah. They were like, people invest in other people in different ways. It's not just like with money. Sometimes it's time, it's support, it's love.
That's it.
And if how is that represented?
How is that represented financially? Because some people are pouring in other things that aren't monetary valued,
right,
that are valuable, and that's what we kind of have talked about too in the past too. And it just would suck to be in a divorce situation where, in my opinion, it would suck to have one person in that mindset of this was valuable,
Yeah.
even though it wasn't monetary.
Right.
And another person saying it's not.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I think she has a lot in there. She obviously has a lot of feelings. She feels misled. I mean, it seems like that her husband went and spent things on Jordan sneakers. Like,
Yeah.
So here's the way I think about, and this is how I feel about money. Money is a very tricky subject with me because
know
it
it is.
ruffles me.
I know it does.
Right. So here's the thing, right? If someone's out doing all of this stuff, how they spend their money sometimes shows you where you are on the priority list.
Ooh, that's great.
This is what I think, right?
Yep.
So let's say I am out there and I'm working and I'm doing all this stuff and I'm paying for dinner for us and I'm taking our kids out and funding their activities and all that so you can get the business started. That's not bringing in any money. But then you go out and you buy Jordan sneakers. I would feel like the priorities for you are to buy Jordan sneakers.
Right.
So if I lent somebody $100, let's say, and they decided that they were going to go out and buy Pokemon cards,
Right.
opposed to pay me back, that tells me that they decided that they would rather pay for the Pokemon cards than pay me back. So that hurts my feelings, right?
Because you're not the priority to pay back, but getting this brand new shiny thing that they want
Right.
is more important to them.
Yeah, and maybe they weren't thinking. And it's important that, like, he has to feel like a person, too, when he's going through all this. He's not expecting to have to go through a divorce.
No,
and
he's
all
the one
that.
who asked for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you? That's why I was ready to
My
dive in.
opinion, you're not an a-hole.
There it is. Let's just end that one on
My
that.
opinion, at a-hole. I would, like...
He's the one who asked for the divorce.
Yeah.
So he used her to pay for all of the. In my opinion, it looks
Jeez,
like
I got to work on my listening skills, clearly.
that it looks like he used her
Dude.
to fund.
Dude, really? You did, like, come on, man.
You listen as well as Holden does.
No. Grow up, man. I mean, it's just like, that's where, yeah, that's kind of, like, if they're doing all that and you go and ask for a divorce and someone's pouring their heart and soul into making sure your dreams come true and your business comes up and you're out there doing all that, you're just taking advantage of them, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So no, you're not being a jerk. You were taken advantage of, in my opinion. And if I was doing that to somebody, I'd want them to tell me. I'd want them to be like, I feel like you're taking advantage of me. I feel like that you're not listening to me. I feel like that we're trying to get the business up and going, and you clearly prioritize some things outside of this. We all have our little things and quirks that we do, right? Like, I spend money on fantasy football and a ton of weird stuff.
I put mine on chickens.
Yeah, because I'm on my own. I don't have to be accountable for anyone. But when you're in a marriage, these purchases that you buy, or you're even in, like, let's say just a dating relationship, like, we all know that money and finances are like a top 5 reason. I don't know where it is where people get divorced.
Yep.
So, like, if you're in a position where you're going and not being respectful to the other person's money, or they feel like the other person feels like you're stealing from them, because that's what it kind of feels like. Yeah, you feel used. So, dude, come on. That's
I love
you're
your
not.
response
I don't
now.
think you're an a-hole. I don't think you are.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, next one is coming from r/divorce. And it is entitled, Ex-Husband Still Sends Me Weird Messages 2+ years after divorce. We divorced several years ago. I asked for the divorce for many legitimate reasons, but it was still hard and sad ending a marriage. He did not want the divorce, but did not contest it. I've experienced a lot of these past few years and am really happy with my life now. I definitely made the right decision, and I think he's mostly moved on too. He has a lovely new girlfriend, according to the friends who are still in touch with him, and seems to be doing well. But every few months, I get a really weird late-night text or email from him. In January, he texted me an old picture of us with the message saying, "You were not a mistake." Last night, I got a text around 1 a.m. with a link to a song we used to call Our Song, and the message, "I hope you're well. I'll always be wishing you well." I think he sends them when drunk. At least that's how they read to me. He's also an amateur playwright, and he's very, very dramatic. So I think
No, I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at your trauma. I'm laughing because I'm a man of the drama. I'm not a man of the drama. I'm a theater kid. God.
So I think part
Keep
of it
going,
is
Nate.
also just playing a tragic part in his head.
Sure.
I also just deleted and ignored his messages. I have no intention of engaging with him. I've not seen or spoken to him since our divorce hearing. I don't think he's intending to be stalkerish or threatening. I think he just sends me them when drunk and sad and reminiscing. But I'm sure his girlfriend would not appreciate what he's doing, and it sure creeps me out. Anyone experience the same thing? Any advice on other than continuing to just ignore him? I don't want to block him, as I want to know whether he sends me something for my own peace of mind. I just want to move on and enjoy his life.
Yeah. So we got to set some boundaries, in my opinion here, right? And so first off, he's like, if I was doing that, I would clearly not be over you, and it's not fair to the girlfriend.
That's what I was going to say.
That like sending things that you're reminiscing about, like past relationship or something like that, even when you're like starting to get into the dating pool, tells me that that's not appropriate.
Like you need to still process some stuff and get through some stuff. And it's, it takes time to process a relationship, and it may take there's no timeline, but for some people it's a couple months. For other people, it's years.
Yeah.
But just to try to get into therapy and do that processing so that you're not going to put other people in a situation like that.
Yeah. And the thing is that I would say is, like, I don't know how serious his relationship is with his girlfriend, but if she couldn't pick up the phone and read the text messages or the emails that he sent without being hurt, then he shouldn't be doing it. Right. And so it's like, and
if he's drunk, then there's another thing. That,
if he's drunk, you gotta sit there and be like, hey, look, I can tell by when these are coming out, you're probably been drinking and you're doing these things, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm sure that your girlfriend wouldn't like it. So I'm going to respectfully just say, can you just reach out to me if it's something that
there's no reason. They don't even have kids. I would just draw that boundary that says, say, hey, I'm not comfortable with these types of reach outs.
Right.
Platonic only, situations.
Well, and I've been guilty. Like when you're going through hurt or you're just not over something, you do this thing called breadcrumbing. And what it is, it's like, so this is way more than breadcrumbing. Breadcrumbing is like you finding a reason to text somebody because you want to ignite a conversation with them again. It could be the thing like, how are you doing lately? Or what are you up to? Finding reasons to reach out to them. That's walking a tightrope by itself. But if you're out there sending like songs and memories and things like that, then you need to seriously sit down and have a conversation about boundaries, in my opinion, because it's just not good for anyone involved.
No, especially if
it could turn into stalkerish. And if he's drinking so much he's doing that, you just need to be like, you almost have to go be like, and you could even say, if you continue to do this, we're going to go non-contact. I like being available and talking and being friendly with you when we see each other. But if it continues to go,
but she hadn't even seen him.
I'm gonna have to be no contact. But no contact doesn't mean just seeing him.
I know.
But it's just like,
I'm just saying, like, it's not like you were saying, like, it's nice to see each other. She hasn't even seen him for 2 years. It looks
like if it keeps going, I will block you.
Yeah.
I don't want to, but I'm gonna have to.
Yeah. And if you find a way around that block, then I will go non-contact or no contact.
Guys can be so interesting.
Did you have one that can like ream on a girl now? Because I feel bad for guys right now, or I feel bad for girls that guys suck so much.
This is also coming from r/divorce.
Okay.
Husband, 38 male, wants a divorce and says he's unhappy. He's giving me, 30 female, a month to convince him to stay. Husband says he's unhappy and is looking for a place of his own and will be moving out April 7th, a day after our 1-year anniversary. The date, because I said we haven't made a whole year, and they say the first year is the hardest. He says that if by any chance I pull a miracle and make him happy enough this month, he may reconsider, but it's not a promise. I feel like I'm dying. Like I can't breathe. I never thought I was this bad to him. He says the things he loved about me aren't enough anymore. I asked him what I could do to start over and make him happy. He said, I don't know. I'm not putting any more work into this. You figure it out. In the meantime, I'm looking for a place that's closer to work. I'm desperate. I love this man. We've gone through so much to be where we are now, and I can't understand how he can be done with us so soon. What do I do?
Leave him. I mean, okay.
Yeah, what would you do if I did that to you, Megan?
Oh,
When we were married or dating.
Okay, I'm going to reframe the question a little bit better. If a woman did that to me that I'm dating.
Okay. Touche.
I mean, at this point, like, I have enough self-respect to realize when someone's being toxic. And it was going to hurt like a bee, but you need to get into therapy and you need to, I mean, I would get into therapy and
feels abusive.
It is abusive.
I don't want to judge because I'm obviously not there, but when somebody does something like that, it's about control. And you shouldn't have to prove yourself like that to anybody.
No.
There's two types of trust in this world. There's people that are born trusting people until they're given a reason not to trust them anymore. Mm-hmm. And then there's people
who think you have to earn it.
Think you have to earn trust. And that's based on given circumstances in life, based on what they've gone through, right?
Trauma, yeah.
But for me, like, in my opinion here, this guy basically, like, this isn't even about trust.
And here's the deal. In my opinion, the way I see this playing out, no matter what she does, he's going to leave because he wants to, but he may get something good out of it in that last month if she had and you're right. It's about a level of control and manipulation, and it's gross, and I'm not here for it at all.
Yeah, one person, or it was a book I read this in, and I really loved it. And I've said this to a couple other people that I've talked to over time. There's some of our friends and some of my family members. It's like what I want down the road with, like, knowing that I'm in a really healthy relationship. It's like two people's lives coming together and not fundamentally having to change who they are as people in order to be with them, right?
Right.
What I feel like this guy wants her to do is essentially change who she is to, like, become something, meet his benchmarks and goals. And, like, he's asserting dominance in a way that's just not healthy. If he doesn't want to be with you, he shouldn't be with you.
Right.
And if he is saying this to you, that you have to earn this type of love and trust, like.
And I also feel like here we are looking at,
it's manipulative.
Yes. And I think we're also looking at an individual who, if someone's in the position where they are truly like, what do? I love this person so much. What do I do? I think this is that point where it's like, go seek some professional help, because
they need to get in with a therapist for sure.
Your self-respect, Matt, that means so much in this world, is respecting yourself and knowing what you're worthy of, and that you're worthy of so much, and that this type of behavior is not something any human is worthy.
I think if somebody really loves somebody, it's not in 30 days you need to convince me. It's like, we're going to keep working on it. Right. And it's like, and if somebody sits there and says that they don't know if they want to be with you, then, like, you don't want to be with them.
Right.
You want to be with someone that knows they want to be with you.
Right. Let's move on. That's just sad.
I agree. I know that we will have an episode probably about this in the future. So maybe like a little foreshadowing for what's to come. But this one is also r/divorce. When did you start dating again is the title. It said, I'm curious as to how soon people started dating after filed divorce, if they thought that was too soon. I filed for divorce a little over a month ago. It's been really difficult emotionally, and I opened up an online dating account a week ago to see if feeling desired would help me process things. I'm going on my first date tonight, and I'm really nervous, especially considering the divorce hasn't gone through yet. The person I'm meeting is fully aware of the situation, but I'm worried that this might be a bad idea. Thanks in advance for sharing your experiences.
Love it that the other person's fully aware.
Yeah, just transparency. Yep. Hey, this is what I'm going through. I'm going through a divorce. If that other person already knows, then they won't be surprised if after that date you're like, hey, I warned you that, and I just realized this, I'm not ready for this. Then that person can't be too surprised because they've already been incredibly transparent. You're not going to always know until you go. But with that transparency that they provided that other person, that to me, with that transparency, you've already set everything up correctly. Because if you do realize it's not right, then you can stop.
Yeah, I had so many people tell me that I shouldn't date or whatnot. And the thing is, when I find somebody that I love to be with, I'm going to date them.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's just what I want to do, right? And it's like, It was easier to date after the divorce went through, but like every divorce is so nuanced. Like we cover in Lindsay's episode and we cover in our beginning episodes that, I mean, you don't know when they separated. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what happened. There's so much there. And so like, I think if you go on that date and you feel icky, you shouldn't do it anymore. Right. And as long as the other person knows, the thing I would hate to know is like, we went on a date together and now we've gone on 10 dates together. And then I find out that you're still married. Like that sucks. And that's not transparent. And that tells me how you're probably going to talk to me and like, you're going to hide things from me because you're afraid to say stuff down the road. Right. And so for me, it's like any relationship, like what I want is just to know what the cards, like what game am I playing?
But I don't think it hurts to try dating to see if it would like if it helps and if that's something that's right for you. Just as long as you already did the important thing, which you're being transparent.
Yeah, and are you the person that got dumped or the dumpee or the dumper, right? And
right.
What if you're still not?
I don't even think that still predicts a timeline because.
No, I mean, I think for me, one of the things that I really wanted to focus on is I got back into the dating pool. If I'm dating someone, it's because I feel like that I'm ready to move on from the past relationship.
Yeah.
And if you're not, if you're still sending texts like this other person was in the previous question, then you shouldn't be going on that date at all.
Right.
Right. And so, but at the same time, it's like you shouldn't be dating someone if you're like married at the same time. Right. And so it's like understanding like does everybody understand what's going on?
Right. That's all it is. And again, I'm going to just throw this out there a million more times. We're not therapists. This is just our opinion and how we move forward with things.
People should look at this like we're responding to their answer on the Reddit thread.
Yeah.
Like we're the equivalent. We're just vocalizing what people are writing. Right. And so it's like we went through a Reddit thread and we're going to write little response as the famous Natron, blah, blah, blah. But instead of doing that, we're just providing you what our thoughts in real time.
But what I always see with Reddit when I'm reading Reddit things is I'm not a therapist, but I keep thinking in my head how valuable therapy has been for me, that I can catch things like, okay, what is my self-worth here? What is this? And even though I still have to, and guys, I'm still in therapy. It's a little less in between, the sessions, but like when I'm having a rough go or something pops up and I'm like, wow, I'm processing this and I feel like I have tools to process this, I still want to run it through the therapist and talk about how I've been processing it, because no matter what, every time I have a session that my therapist is able to provide a perspective through their professional lens and to help the process even more. So I think though, because I've been going through so much therapy, all I want to be, and it seems like the most offensive thing you can say to someone is like, hey, maybe you should just go to a therapist. Because that sounds like, hey, are you seeing a therapist? They're like, but a therapist is not what we've imagined back in the 60s and 70s and 80s. I
think everyone should be in therapy.
Everyone should be in therapy. Yeah. And I think we'd have less Reddit. I don't think Reddit actually wants that because then they wouldn't succeed.
That's actually perfect. The top comment on that one is, dates are not there to be your therapy. Get a counselor and work through the issues of the relationship first. Some really good self-reflection and self-assessment will help you be a better person just for yourself.
Yeah. Yep. And, it also depends on what like your religion and your spirituality beliefs are, right? Because like if she's part of a spiritual or religious belief where like this is technically cheating still, she should honor that. But if she's not, or like this doesn't bother her, this doesn't flip that trigger, she's not hurting anybody if everybody knows what's going on. Right.
And her update since we are verbalizing this Reddit thread is, thanks so much for the thoughtful replies. I did go on the date last night, but I am now deleting my profile on dating apps because I didn't feel comfortable at all. Yeah. It was 100% me, not him. He was exactly the kind of man I would normally want to be with, but it did feel wrong. I'm going to lean on my family and friends instead, as many suggested.
Super respectful.
Awesome.
Props to her.
And
Yeah.
she did it right. She was transparent to that person, so they understood probably,
And this is what I think people should understand when you're in this dating world online, right? Just because they don't go on a second date with you doesn't mean that you're a garbage human being or that it went bad. Like, it's not you, it's me is actually really truthful and real, right? It's this like, you sit there and it's like, it just didn't feel right. I've gone on dates with people off of like a Hinge where they're like, you know what? I just felt like it was friends. And I took that really personal. I was like, man, I just must not be good looking enough, right? And that's like what went through my head. But like, it was like, no. It's like some people jive, some people don't. There's a bunch of people out there that think I'm just fine looking, right? And it's just like, this person, it had nothing to do about my looks. It was like, we sat down and talked about theater for an hour. And that felt like two friends getting together opposed to two people who could be going on dates together.
Right.
And like, ultimately, I want to date. Like, I want to date someone who's going to come up my best friend too, but I don't want it to feel like my buddy. I have buddies. And you can be one, but you can't be my girlfriend. That.
Oh, man. All right. I mean, I've gone on several dates too where it's just like it's not that they're a bad person. It's just like when you met in person, you're like, oh, this vibe isn't the vibe I'm looking for.
It's just like, I can tell really like right away.
And usually though, if you're like,
change over time, I guess, for sure. But I mean,
right.
If she felt icky because she's still married and that, she shouldn't do it. And it sounds like she followed that instinct. So good for her.
Good for her.
Okay, another from r/divorced.
Gotta love r/divorce, where I snuck in a lot of divorce not divided.
Yeah, you might see us on there.
Content.
Just divorced. How do I find out who I am now? Oh, this title might be a little bit weird, but I just got divorced from my ex and started to realize that I don't even know who I am anymore. We had been together for 10 years. I made my whole personality into what I thought she wanted me to be. I feel so empty and alone now that she's left. What can I do to heal and find out who I am as a single, fully grown adult? Someone asked me if I wanted to do something later this week, and I instantly worried that my ex-wife would disapprove and say we already had plans. But she won't say that because we're not an item anymore. She's moved out. I can do whatever I want. But what do I do? What do I do, and how do I know what I want to do? I just pace around the half-empty house we used to share and stare blankly and cry for hours. Did anyone else feel like this after their divorce? What helped you move past it and figure out who you were as an individual instead of part of a couple?
I can relate to you so much. Everything that person's going through is very real. And I didn't know who I was for a really long time after going through a divorce, because I associated myself as a married couple. Mm-hmm. And I paced around my house for hours and I cried, and then I'd be happy, and then I'd be like, look, it's an opportunity. And then I'd get really pissed off at my friends. I called them, was like, you're going to be so much better off. It's like, screw you, leave me alone. And it's a terrible feeling. And it's like, everything that you said was so raw and real, and it is exactly what people go through. And again, I didn't know who I was. I have caught myself multiple times, for you, for other people, changing how I am to fit an expectation that I thought, to take accountability, I thought was being set on me. That what I learned over time, and like therapy would be, again, a really great thing for this person, is like, you don't even know if that person actually wanted you to change who they are, who you were for them, unless they really told you. Like, there's times where you're sitting there and someone's like, oh, I like somebody that likes golf. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to go learn golf then because they like that. They didn't mean for you to have to go and learn golf. You went and didn't learn golf because she said that she likes golf. And you change yourself because you thought that was what love was. But what you're actually doing in that situation is you're manipulating the other person and you're manipulating yourself to fit this need so they don't leave you. What a lot of people don't know is like I've been through more breakups than just Megan. And I think what's important to understand, it's this like my heart has been hurt in other times. And so what I've tried to do in all of those situations is take a step back and understand where I might have went wrong in that. And it's like, and I try to take personal accountability instead of saying like, look at what that person did to me. That person made me change who I am. No, that was something that I did. Right. And it's like I've sat down with people before, after like a breakup and been like, yeah, I was changing who I was. And they're like, I never expected you to do that. Right? I never expected you to do that. But that was up in my head. And a lot of that was because of an anxious attachment style I had from my divorce, because I was afraid that people would leave me again. So I wanted to do anything to make sure that it was different.
Because it's hard to explain to your heart that I didn't leave you because of anything you did. Because no matter, you've still felt the loss. I'm guessing. I'm just still, correct me if I'm wrong. You can say, your mind can say a million times, I'm still like, it wasn't about how I looked. It wasn't about this or that, because you're like, if Meg's gay, then it can't be about that. But am I guessing correctly that what your mind can say that a million times, but your heart still sometimes worries about things like that?
Oh, yeah, sure. And I've gotten a lot better. And it's just like, again, I continue to work on myself. Like I said, one of the things I love about doing this podcast is I'm able to sit here and put myself out there in a way that's just authentically me. Right? I'm not trying to be anything. I'm not trying to be the position I am at work. I'm not trying to be like anything else but who I am. And these are my opinions and my own thoughts. And sure, those will change as I meet other people down the road. But like when you feel like that you've are lost, it's because you've lost your own self-identity, which you can regain. But you have to understand that that's a process that is going to involve lots of support and lots of people, your friends, your family, your therapist, to figure out who you are again.
And I wanted you to go first because I felt like just hearing it, I felt you feeling it, right?
Sure.
My take on this particular one is, and you already said it, like, hey, like, again, therapy isn't a bad thing. But even as the dumper, I didn't know who I was afterwards.
Sure.
And there's lots of reasons I didn't know who I was. That tracks with the sexuality part, and that also tracks with, though, like having kids. Like we were 4 or 5 years in with kids, I stopped doing things I liked. I couldn't even sit down and watch a movie anymore. I didn't know who I was. And I was like, what do I even like to do? What hobbies do I even like? Because I also had some substance use stuff. So when that stopped, and I'm like, I have all this time to be like, when coming out of that, it's like, oh, I used to like this. I used to like this. So I don't know if you experienced that too, but I had to like dive back in, and I started painting again. I'm like, oh, I still like that. And I was like, oh, I started felting it. And now I'm just going to sound like a grandma. But I'm gardening and felting and painting.
That's who I am.
And cooking. And
my inner child is 85 years old.
Well, I was like, oh, God. I guess I just, a grandma. Yeah. But I realized that I'm like, but I always liked that stuff.
Sure.
Nature and like, so I guess my suggestion to you is, as you're in this part where you're like, who am I and what do I like? Go do things and
figure out
take
what
classes
that is. Yeah.
And don't like the thing that's really like hard. Sometimes it's easier to be like, no, I don't need to leave my couch. I'm healing. But part of the healing process might be getting up off the couch and trying something new. And you might even meet someone who likes that.
Too, I've read books that said like, just go out and do stuff. Like go work out, go do like, go bike ride, go do these things. You might meet somebody really cool that fits where you're going now. Like, And I want to also address like the different motivations of trying new things, because you may meet someone and be really fascinated that they love to hang glide. I don't know. I'm just windsurf. I don't know. But like you said, like
I'm going to windsurf so they like me better isn't the right motivation.
No, you should windsurf because you want to windsurf.
Like if you're like, I want to try windsurfing with this person, then you find out you like it just as much.
Yeah.
That's different.
It's different if like they are a hobby at windsurfing and you want to try it out because you want to learn more about them and what they like. And then if you don't like it again, just be like, hey, I did not like that. I love you, but I did not like that.
Right.
You don't have to do it anymore.
I think you even would encourage me once in a while. You're like, do you want like, let's do the golfing? And I'm like, no.
I love it. Like,
No. Don't make me do it.
No, and it like we can explore things together. And
Yeah.
that's like the person that I am most attracted to is someone that wants to explore things with me. That's the world.
Yeah.
That's who we are together.
They don't have to have a hobby that's the same. They just have to be ready to explore.
Gotta explore. Hey, so we want to put this out there. If you find things on Reddit or Threads or anything like that you'd like us to comment on or get our perspective on,
please send them our way.
Yeah.
Like we would love to do this again, after a few more episodes, like hop back on and do something
we'll
similar
do
to this.
periodically.
Also, your own questions, comments, we can dive into. We would love that as well. But this is the format in which we would answer it. We would have just an episode here and there that we would touch on some comments.
Yep. So if you like what you see, make sure you subscribe, please share on social media. We're getting quite a few people watching the podcast,
we're so
which is
excited.
great. We'd love to see it continue to grow and thrive.
Yep.
So check us out on YouTube, check us out on Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts, essentially. And so, but sharing it with other people is probably the best way to get this out there.
Please follow us on our socials too. So we are at Divorced Not Divided on Facebook, and then Divorced Not Divided Podcast on Instagram. We will always be posting, and some fun behind the scenes footage we've started to release, and
so
it'll
be good. So, well, thanks everybody very much. We love you.
Yes. Bye.